So welcome to our Nation Valley News studio here in beautiful Chesterville. We're on Main Street at 2808 County Road 7, our headquarters, and today we have a special visitor. Eric Duncan, the former mayor of North Dundas, has an announcement to make, or he's probably made the announcement already if you're watching this now, but just tell us a little bit about what you've had to say. You've teased us with this news, Eric.
I've drug it out a little bit this week since Guy's announcement on Saturday, but I've had an opportunity to think about it and had a bit of a heads up that the announcement was coming, and spoke to family and friends and hundreds of phone calls I think it's been this week, but it's all been very positive. And I'm excited to announce that I plan to seek the Conservative nomination here in Stormont-Dundas-South Glengarry, and hopefully make it to the general election. I know I got big shoes to fill with Guy, but I'm excited about the opportunity and the chance to make a difference.
Well, congrats. People have been anticipating this for a while, quite a while actually, maybe since you left high school. Tell us a little bit about your early days in politics, even going back before high school, right? I think I saw something on Facebook that maybe you were involved in student government back at Nationview.
That was back in my grade 7, grade 8 days, but I always attribute to my involvement or passion for public service to come from my time. My first volunteer experience was at the South Mountain Fair, and I think I was about 12 or 13 years old, and the fair needed new volunteers. They needed some new blood, and I joined that with my family, my dad at the same time, and that was just a really rewarding experience. I got to work with different volunteers. We did fundraising, and I'm really proud of where the South Mountain Fair is today, and that really spurred my interest in getting involved in the community, making a difference, and not just, I would say people, not just complaining about things, but seeing how things can be done better and offering to give a hand. So that really spurred me through high school to be involved in Students' Council, and then my involvement in North Dundas as a councillor and mayor, warden, in my 9 years with Guy, to work on Parliament Hill, to have that experience, to know on day one what needs to get done and how to do it, is something that I'm grateful to have the experience for, and I want to put that to good use.
Right. And the experience you do have it kind of belies your 30 years of age, right? It's a lot of years of experience in different things, including Parliament Hill, as you mentioned. Was there ever really a doubt that you were going to do this? Because like a lot of observers had noticed during your final term as mayor, even the final year as mayor, you may be getting a little comfortable with the idea of not being a politician anymore as the end of the term was approaching.
Yeah, and that would be a fair thing, and I'm honest with people to say there's a period of time when I was younger. Since I can remember as a child, I've had a dream. Some people aspire to be a doctor or a teacher. I've always dreamed of sitting in the House of Commons one day, representing my community and my country. And some say that's a naked ambition or a negative thing. I've had a dream since I was a child, and it's something that I was interested in. I don't feel bad about that, or I don't apologize for that. It's something that I've always wanted to do. But there was a period, I would say, honestly, for a couple of years where there's a path to choose. Did I want to continue in public life or look at other opportunities? And I had the chance to work at our family business, Jet Express in South Mountain, with my dad. And it was great. It gave me some experience on the other side in the private sector in doing that. And when this opportunity came up, I had the chance to think about it. And people that know me, and I say this, and it kind of sounds strange, putting my name forward for office again, I hate politics. I hate petty nastiness. I hate backstabbing. I hate conflict, all those types of things. What I do love is, okay, we've got a problem here. We can do better here. How can we do it? And a line I've always used, attitude is a small thing that makes a big difference. And whether you're voting for another party, whether you represent another party, whether you have a different opinion, it doesn't have to be nasty. It doesn't have to be rude. It can be done in a civil way and in a constructive way. So when I was thinking about this, I don't care for those negative things, but I think by being in the arena and giving this a chance, I can hopefully contribute to a better dialogue and a proper dialogue. There's going to be people that disagree with me, and I understand that. That's politics, and that's a good thing. But the way we treat each other, and the way that we converse and debate, that's what I want to make sure we set a good tone about in our campaign, and if we get there to the election this fall.
What is the message you're bringing to party faithful first in trying to get the nomination? Maybe you can tell me when the nomination date is, if they know it yet or roughly. And so what is that message you're bringing to the party faithful? And beyond that, if you're successful, what's the message you're bringing to the general populace in Stormont-Dundas-South Glengarry?
Well, you're right. There's two phases to this election process. There's the Conservative nomination process. I don't know the date. I'm not on the committee or privy to that. My guess, just knowing the way the party's done things across the country, they want to get a candidate in sooner rather than later to start knocking on doors and meeting people, which is going to be important. So there's that aspect, and then a general election. But my message to party members and prospective members is the same thing as it will be during the general election. I believe that I have the experience and the energy right on day one to be an effective member of Parliament. I've had a great role model in Guy. I look at the office in Cornwall, the satellite offices, the passport clinics, the tax clinics, the things that he's done to help people. And there's two parts to a job. There's holding the government to account or being in government and delivering results. And there's also being a good constituency MP. And Guy has set the benchmark for that. It's not easy to have to meet that, but that's my plan and my message is that they will still get the same good customer service. They're going to have a member of Parliament that's out at events, accessible in the community, and just hopefully sets the right tone for having discussions on what our country really needs.
He leaves some pretty big shoes to fill, Guy does.
I absolutely agree with that. The benchmark has been set, and I look at it in a local level. I remember dignitaries coming to local events here in the area, and if it was a couple of times a year they showed up, the red carpet was rolled out. Oh my, the member of Parliament's coming to our event. This doesn't happen too often. It's a big deal. Guy Lozon totally changed that, where he goes to so many events and is accessible to so many people. He walks into the local fair or meet me on Main Street. Oh, hi again, Guy. It's the third time I've seen you this week. But people appreciate that, and that means a lot to people to know that person's just not somebody sitting in an office in Ottawa, as an elitist making decisions. It's a grassroots person, and that's the exact same approach I plan to take. I did that as mayor, and the riding's a lot bigger, but I plan to do the same thing in Stormont-Dundas and South Glengarry.
And you've got a pretty good election machine going, and you've got a pretty good track record of winnability, right? I mean, everything...
Knock on wood. Yes.
Everything you've run for, you've won.
Right, yeah,
and how many campaigns have you run for, like Jim McDonnell, Guy? And all of those were successful?
So I've been lucky. At the municipal level, I've been in 3 elections, and I won all 3 of those, which I've appreciated. And then for Guy and Jim, I've been their campaign manager 6 times, 3 times each, and we won those too. So a lot of it is the same strategy. It's taking nothing for granted. It's working hard and earning support every single time. And I've learned that from the best between Guy and Jim. And doing the same thing, not taking anything for granted. I want to speak to as many people and get out and see as many people as possible, and just replicate that strategy, that grassroots strategy each and every time.
Right. Do you expect the city of Cornwall to allow the position to go unopposed? You're a South Mountain guy. Is Cornwall going to want to have their own candidate at least challenge Eric Duncan for the nomination?
I don't know if other people are going to come for the nomination, or obviously there'll be other candidates in the general election, but I go back and our representation, whether it be past Liberal MPP Jim Burnell or Jim McDonnell or Guy Lozon, in the past, people never said, oh, they're from St. Andrews or they're from Williamstown, they've got a factor. They've been able to go and say, it doesn't matter what corner of the riding you're in, you work just as hard for your neighbors as you do for people that live an hour away in the riding. Everybody's your neighbor, it should be the philosophy when you're an MP or an MPP, and I plan to take the same approach. I spend, I'm making hundreds of phone calls this week, and the support's been wonderful and very appreciated. And I'm calling just as much in Cornwall and South Glengarry, speaking to members, and the support there is just as strong as it is in Dundas County, where it doesn't matter where you live in our riding. I can be a voice for them and serve them just as equally. So I don't get into, and it's the same in the township, Winchester or Chesterville or South Mountain. People know that I've rejected that type of politics. We can deliver results in every area on whatever project it may be, and I plan to do the same in the riding. If you're from Williamsburg or Williamstown, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to work just as hard and be just as present in your community wherever it is.
And you are getting good response from party members in Cornwall then?
Oh, it's been very positive. I've been lucky between being the campaign manager for several times at the provincial and federal level, being Guy's assistant for 9 years, and then also as warden of the counties and as mayor. You get to know a lot of people through that work. So I've made a lot of connections and friendships there, and it's been wonderful. Those that have reached out to me, those that I'm reaching out to, it's been good. And there's some people that don't know me yet. That's understandable, and I'm picking up the phone, having a cup of coffee, meeting with them, and that's the way you do it. That's grassroots campaigning. But to start off in the first couple of days since Guy's announcement, I'm really happy and humbled by the support.
Have you heard of any other names coming forward, or are you still the first? Or
the first that I know of. I think that others may be. And I mean, you look at it where this is the first time at the federal level that the Conservative nomination's been open in 16 years. So there are going to be people that may consider it, and that's understandable. But like I said, I run my own lane and run our way. My goal or my hope, in the way we're trending, is to have 1,000 supporters, maybe even as many as 1,500 in the first few days of officially launching this campaign. And so we're going to work hard. It doesn't matter if others get in or not. Our strategy is giving it 110% and running our own game and running our own lane.
I know when you ran for mayor, you kind of spearheaded, or you were kind of a trailblazer as far as having like calling banks or calling parties and things on your behalf. Yeah. You were kind of spearhead on social media. I think we'll see more of that, I would presume, in this exercise.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. And I always say there's giving it 110%. And I say the Guy Lauzon strategy is you run every election like you're losing by 500 votes. And you work hard for it. You take nothing for granted. And we're going to use that strategy. I think probably in the first couple of days of calling people, in the lead up to the announcement, I think there's over 100 and some volunteers that we have on board that are ready to call and ask about signs, ready to door knock, ready to do canvas literature drops, to do coffee meet and greets. And that's the way I want to mix both the traditional way of campaigning, going door to door, asking for support, getting out there, and also social media, Facebook, and using that platform as well to get our message out as well. So we're going to run this both old school and new school, and I'm confident that we're going to have hundreds of volunteers that are going to help out. And I think people appreciate seeing energy and motivation that way when they see volunteers involved. People want to get involved. People want to make a difference, and I'm excited about it.
And I would imagine raising money is part of the business as well. And has that been going well so far? Maybe it's not even started yet.
Just starting now when the nomination kicks off, the fundraising aspect. And there's the big thing is selling memberships. It's $15 to buy a membership for 1 year. They can do it on our website, ericduncan.ca, and that allows them to vote in the nomination meeting, whether it's contested or not. It's important to have that membership in there. And people are signing up for lawn signs. If I get to the general election, you can sign up today for a free lawn sign. That's been great to build momentum and show support there. And people can make donations. So that's just starting, but I'm optimistic that will go well. It's fundraising is a necessary evil there, but people want to contribute. What I'm seeing so far, and it's really appreciated.
What are the key issues you see facing the riding? After almost 4 years of Trudeau government.
A few different things and a few different challenges. The one thing I find ironic about looking at what the narrative is going to be for the campaign this fall is the issue of the carbon tax is coming back again. I feel it was just less than a year ago now that we had a provincial election where I'm pretty confident the message was clear that people, especially Stormont-Dundas-South Glengarry and across the province, don't see the carbon tax as the way to go to tackle the challenges we face in this country. It's a tax grab. People know it. People see it. And especially in our riding, where we have people commuting to Ottawa back and forth every day, you just can't hop on a train and go into Ottawa to go to work. And we require, in a lot of spots, it's not just North Dundas, it's Chrysler, it's people living in South Glengarry that are going to Cornwall. They require their car, they require to fill up on gas. They're not, it's not a negative thing, it's an economic driver. So if we're going to fight, if Justin Trudeau and the Liberals want to fight an election on a carbon tax again, challenge accepted. We sent a clear message last year, and we can do the same thing this year. And I think just overall, when we look at the issues, issue after issue, I say to people, we can do a better job in our federal government, and there's a lot of places we can start. So being more efficient with tax dollars, and the first thing when you go and look for is not ask for a tax increase. How can we be more efficient with the money that we've already got? A friend of mine, Pierre Polyev, a member of parliament next door, money is better spent by people who earn it than by people who collect it. And I love that line, and it's true. So I'm looking forward to the issues we're going to be debating this fall, and whoever it may be in the campaign trail if we get that far. But there's a lot of meat and potatoes that we need to get into at the debate stage.
Right. And of course, you've seen a leader up close who believed in that sort of philosophy in Stephen Harper, right? You essentially ran their caucus meetings on behalf of Guy, kind of as the coordinator.
Yeah, as a
right?
coordinator for a couple of years. That was a kind of behind the scene bird's eye view, side view of how government operates, how caucus operates, and how decisions are made. So that's where it comes into ready on day one to know that process, know how to get results if there's a local issue or a local problem, to know how to get out there and ready to hit the ground on day one, should I have the honor.
So you've been doing a number of media interviews. The ball is rolling. The intensity has begun.
Absolutely, it's busy. Lots of interviews in every part of the riding. My goal is making 100 and some phone calls per day, answering text messages, emails, Facebook messages. It's been great. So I haven't got back to you yet. I'm on it, and I'm in the process of calling. But it's been wonderful. The response has been positive, and I want to make sure I get out to all the local media, including Nation Valley News, because it's our local media that get the message out about our campaigns, about our issues that we're running, and it helps fuel our democracy. So we're lucky to have groups, organizations like Nation Valley News that can help us get the word out.
And just another word on Guy Lozon, of course, your predecessor. I would imagine he's going to be a bit of a mentor still, and he's going to be helping with the campaign, and
absolutely.
He's got piles of energy he'll be 75, I think, in October, right?
In April, actually.
April,
he's going to be in April, and I always tease, I've door knocked with Guy a lot, and I consider myself a door knocking veteran, and I have trouble keeping up with him. So Guy said to me, whoever the candidate may be this fall, he's going to be beside working, and I know Francis will be as well, and a lot of people have helped Guy along the way. So should I have the honor of being the Conservative candidate and going in this fall, we're going to be knocking on doors. We're going to be going to lots of events and getting the word out. So it will be a busy 2019.
Well, thanks for visiting us here, Eric, at the Nation Valley News headquarters at 2808 County Road 7 in Chesterville. Congrats.
Thank you very much for having me.
And good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.